All right. Filling time with a PH. That's our new thing. I love it. Jack said start, and he'll be here. So Tucker is hanging out, drinking Pepsi, which is a mistake because Coke is better. I can't believe you're a Pepsi guy.
Oh, I'm a huge Pepsi
I
guy.
know you said you were. Like, I'm a huge Coke guy. Like, zero. I drink a lot of Coke.
You drink Coke Zero.
Coke Zero.
Which is like the skim milk of Coke.
It is, in a way. Here's what I'll say. I can't do the full Cokes with the amount I drink at my age.
Like I told you and Elliot, I think I probably drank a half gallon of milk and a half gallon of Pepsi every day.
So wild. It's great. It's
Jack's here.
It's fine. It's fine. It's all about genetics anyway. It's all that matters.
No.
The only thing that matters is genetics.
How we doing?
How you doing?
Good. Good.
Okay, let's do it. You ready to roll?
Be here.
Good. Got some Zoe parent teacher conferences after this. So how exciting is that?
Sounds horrible.
You got something that coming in your future, buddy. Get ready.
Yeah, we'll see.
Homeschool?
Yeah. Or just, you actually might get out of there. They'll probably be like at the time you're working. So you'll never have to worry about it. I'm sorry, Jill. Gotta go on your own.
I have to work today.
Emily would divorce me if I forced her to do this on her own. It's like the last thing she wants to do is talk.
No, I think I'll look forward to those, honestly.
I do too. I like it. Tell me how great my kid is. It's awesome.
Tell me how great I am.
Well, that's as a parent. Yes, that sounds about right. All right.
You listen to the show? Awesome.
It is. I will tell you, it is weird. It's funny that has happened to me where I've had like a teacher say like, "Oh, I heard you on the way in this morning." I'm like,
"Yeah,
weird.
Yeah,
but cool.
Not,
Thank you."
Not weird. It's like the only perk of doing this.
Getting noticed.
Yeah, that's about it.
You're the best.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yo, it is another edition of the High Hopes Podcast, sponsored by Miller Lite, official partner of the Philadelphia Phillies. Tastes like Miller time, Philadelphia. Celebrate responsibly. How you doing, buddy? You look like you're beaming right now. You like,
yeah,
you're happy. This is a happy Jack Fritz. Is it because the Eagles lost so many players? Is that why you're so happy right now?
Again, thrilled with what happened a month ago. Couldn't have pried me off Broad Street.
No, it's like your best day of your life.
Yeah, best day of my life. Dude, every time.
How bad do you need the Phillies? Is there any... Okay, better question. Who wants the Phillies to win a World Series more? You or Bryce Harper?
Bryce, but every time...
a quick answer.
Every time you say, "Go Birds, baby," I want to punt a puppy into traffic.
Please don't do that. We're a puppy-friendly podcast.
I'm just kidding.
We love puppies here.
I know.
You've long been a dogsman.
No, I love dogs.
You haven't had a dog.
No, I know. I haven't actually physically owned a dog.
So this is what's funny. We're going to go old school here. When Jack and I first became friends back interning at another station and producing another station, Jack used to give me dog treats for my dogs.
I made dogs.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, that was part of our first interaction.
I think
was dog treat guy.
I think the dog bones were bigger than your dogs.
They were.
Like, your dogs were this big.
I know,
you know what I mean?
Millie was a little thicker.
A little thicker. No, like, all right, I'm over the whatever. The Eagles are fine.
Move on.
They're great.
It's done.
I'm not beaming because of the Eagles. I'm beaming because I've never done this before, James, in the history of the podcast.
Whoa!
And I'm ready to have a monumental moment because
oh my God. For just so everyone knows, I have no idea what he's talking about. He is shocking me with this as well.
Yeah. It's March 13th. I've never said on the history of the podcast heading into the season what I'm about to say, but I truly believe it for the first time.
I'm so intrigued right now. I have no idea where this is going.
I think they're going to win the World Series.
What?
I think they're going to win the World Series.
Never said that.
I've never done that.
The only times we've ever kind of done is like in the moment in playoffs, been like, "Oh, this team could win. I think they're going to win it." But like, you've never come into a season and said this ever.
And I promise this is not a.
I can't believe you're doing that.
I know. And I promise it's not
we got our title for the pod, right?
It's not a bit from the standpoint of like saying something just to say something, because I do guard myself, and I don't. I try not to get ahead of myself with the baseball team.
You would not do that with the Phillies. Like, you just wouldn't put that out. You wouldn't.
Other teams, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Would you predict the Eagles go 15-1?
16-1.
There you go.
And win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, nailed it.
I actually did. Well, I did. That was a bit. Obviously.
I know. That's my point. I'm saying you wouldn't do that.
I did really feel like they were going to go on a run after the Brown
I know, and
game.
they were 2-2. Or 3-2 or whatever. You felt it. Yeah.
2-2. But
Well,
I
the
really,
Browns game would make it 3-2, but I think you said it after 2.
I thought I said it after the Browns game, and everyone's
Browns
still
game
mad.
would make it 3-2. So
yeah. People forget people were mad about the Eagles early in the
I
season.
know. Like really mad, like fire that coach
I
mad.
know,
Yeah, that's
I
the
know.
thing.
No one better. No one better. But like I really believe it, and maybe it's because I've just read this quote over and over again from Stark. So Stark wrote a whole piece on The Athletic the other day about obviously the Phillies, and he talked to players on the team, talked to people around the organization.
Saw Jason Stark in Clearwater for a second.
Yeah, the
Told him
best.
he was my favorite writer of all time.
Yeah, and like this quote just continues to jump out at me. And he wrote that nothing boils this group's juices after a 95-win season more than the talk that they've missed their shot to clear that hump, or that they're not even one of the 2 best teams in the NL East this year. They've also noticed that they're now 3 weeks into a spring in which they've generated virtually no buzz despite all the winning they've done. Last quote, a little annoying.
A little annoying.
A little
like,
annoying.
Don't be looking at the buzz, all right,
A
boys?
little, well, no, the last thing about all the winning they've done, that's very Sixers-ish.
It is.
But just the idea.
Also, like use it as fuel. That's great. But like the Eagles did just win the Super Bowl. You should not expect a ton of buzz because they won the Super Bowl. You know?
Yeah, I don't care.
I know.
What I care about is the no one believes in us Phillies.
Yes.
And
that's like I believe in no one believes in us as much as I believe in any sports motivational thing there is. I think it is the number one best motivator for a team that there is.
Because all they've heard all offseason is you did nothing in the offseason. You choked last year against the Mets. You guys are old. You can't get over the hump.
This group's never going to do it together.
Yeah. And
never going to change the way they approach. Never going to hit different. They're never going to hit in the playoffs. Yeah, it's a lot of that.
And you look at the landscape of baseball, and it's really just the Dodgers.
I'm with you on this. I think this is a great take. I think all the other teams that are at the top are kind of in a similar vein. It's just the Dodgers that feel like a juggernaut.
If you can take down the Dodgers, James, who's the best team in the American League?
Yeah.
Like the Yankees lost Garrett Cole, and they're still the favorites.
And
they lost Juan Soto. The Astros lost Kyle Tucker and Alex Bregman.
Point. When was the last time the American League was this bad?
I have no idea.
It's been years.
James, the 3 top
yeah, like the Indian or the Guardians and Royals, the best teams in the American League.
The Orioles lost Corbin Burns
go.
And they have the second best odds. The Astros lost Bregman and Kyle Tucker and have the third best odds.
Better when I think about all the players that came to the National League, though.
It shouldn't. The National League is a freaking juggernaut.
It's insane, dude.
But I think the D-backs, Padres, Phillies, Braves, Mets.
Are those the 5 best teams in baseball all in the National League? Is that possible?
It's possible. It's possible. By the way, can the odds makers grow up a little bit? The Red Sox are going to win the AL. Look at the Red Sox.
Love this take.
They got Crochet. He's going to
got Bregman.
No, Crochet is going to finish second in Cy Young.
Trevor Story breakout season or
bounce. He was playing well.
I actually meant on Trevor Story this year.
By the way,
I need Fritz just real quick before we forget. And I have my draft tomorrow night, so like I need Fritz guys.
Should I just do it on the podcast? I don't think anyone listens. I'll do it at the end of the pod so that
I think what you should do is do Fritz guys on the next pod since my draft is on Friday, and then you do it. So it doesn't hurt me. Yes,
does your league members listen?
There are people in the legal list.
Okay, so I won't bring up Gavin Williams, but
it's like my top guy. Go on.
Dude, yeah, he's already dropped his Cy Young odds from 10,000 to 6,000.
So next pod we'll do the Fritz guy. You just got a free Fritz guy, and whoever takes it in front of me in the draft, I know you listen. And I'm mad at you already.
Yeah, but no, I look at them, and this is a group that I think believes in themselves. I think they think they're really good. I think when you were down there, when I was down there, we were there at the same time, didn't see each other.
Outrageous.
Always fantastic.
Yeah. Blame American Airlines.
I just think they don't know what to say besides because I think
they feel foolish saying the same things they said last year, but when in reality, like the mentality is the same, like World Series or bust type of thing, they feel foolish saying.
And they've just been beaten down all off season of you guys chokers, blah 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 blah. So they really want to be like, I think we're really good, and then have everyone tell them, no, you're not. Like,
you idiot.
Yeah.
How could you say that?
I'll take the bullets for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just a true.
Look at this.
Like, I'll take them. Listen. If they don't win the World Series, whatever. I think they're going to win the World Series. I think at least they're going to be in the NLCS. If the Dodgers are just a juggernaut, the Dodgers are just a juggernaut.
Some things you can't do about it.
No, like if you take them to 6 games, I don't think everyone's going to be melting down about losing to the Dodgers. And maybe they're an all-time team. Maybe they're not. Maybe it's baseball and you can beat them.
Maybe guys get hurt. I mean, it's baseball.
Now,
Yeah.
Everyone did get hurt on their rotation last year, and it was
they still won the World Series.
They still won.
No
the World
closer,
Series.
no starters. Didn't matter.
Well, at least they added Tanner Scott and Kirby Yates.
Yeah.
To that. I just.
Yeah, and they added some starters too, like Sasaki and Snell.
I know.
Sasaki, and Ohtani, by the way, is a starter now too.
Did you see Sasaki the other day?
He looked nasty.
I know.
Yeah, he looked real nasty. Game 2 starter for them.
And I think because I've been kind of piecing my way through how to feel about him, and I think there's 2 camps. I think there's one camp of Phillies fans that is more worried about, like, if you're asking your worry heading into the season. I think that there's 2 camps. I think one camp is I'm just worried about the Phillies, and there's the other camp where I'm just worried about the Dodgers. And like I fall more into I'm worried about the Dodgers than I'm worried about the Phillies.
Too. The Dodgers, when I was, and I'm good now. I'm super ready for baseball. I'm excited. Like I'm back to where I needed to be.
About time.
But like honestly, it wasn't the Eagles winning the Super Bowl that I couldn't get jacked up for. Like I was relishing that and all that. But like it's the Dodgers thing. I've just been so upset about it, and it feels so like it's not unfair, but it feels unfair. Like it feels like, what are we doing here? Like, what's the point of this if that team's just going to add everyone? So the Dodgers thing has frustrated me the most. But as we get closer to your point, it like to quote Dave Dombrowski, that's baseball.
Well, he doesn't like that quote, except when he has to use it after the season.
When he says it. Like, I do think to your point, like it is baseball, and the Dodgers absolutely could lose. Any team could lose. So, but the Dodgers thing has annoyed me more than the Phillies inactivity.
Yeah, and again, it's interesting because I actually think the Eagles and Phillies are in a very similar situation. Obviously, the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Phillies did not do that. But heading into this year, where the Eagles had to purge a lot of a good amount of their defense, the Phillies I think are heading into this year. They can win the World Series, but we're not dying to win the World Series. I think the Eagles are heading into next year saying, we just
won the Super Bowl. You know what?
We need to get some things right on the roster.
We still got a lot of talent. We could win, but we're not going to go all into winning it.
Exactly. Exactly. So I think they're actually in a similar situation. But
pause here.
A little bit of a pause here. But maybe the pause here ends in it can end in a title.
Of course it can.
Because
look, it doesn't even need, the 2017 Eagles came out of nowhere to win a title. Like you can win a title.
Even last year's Eagles team. I mean, I think people were excited, but
another good point. You're right. I mean, they came off the worst collapse in the history of the franchise. I mean, absolutely. Like
compared to the 1964 Phils.
I actually do feel like, and look at evidence suggests, I feel like it's more likely in Philadelphia that we're going to win a championship when we're not all expecting it than when we are.
Oh yeah. Now, again, we don't do dynasties.
No,
we don't
go into a season saying we're about to dominate and then actually dominate. That doesn't happen to us.
There needs to be some bumpy roads. And believe me saying I think they're going to win the World Series has nothing to do with that. I still think it's going to be a slow start. I don't. Now Ben made a good point about like the division and how hard it is and how maybe they have a quicker leash on the Turner leadoff thing. I just don't feel that. I think. I don't feel the Turner thing. I think they'll give the Turner thing some breathing room.
So do you think they will start the season with Turner leading up? Because they've been going back to Schwarber a lot in these spring training lineups.
They have, and they've been trying to do the whole we're going to do both thing. Maybe
which is the worst. It's I just pick one. Just pick one.
I just want to see how it works.
I'm in on it. So I've been very staunchly, it worked with Schwarber. I don't think that was the problem with the team, but why not at this point try it out, especially when you did bring Trey Turner in here to do that. And again, I think we talked about last pod where I'm I was astounded it was only 15 games that he let off. I would have guessed 25 at least. And I knew it wasn't much, but and that's not enough, right? When you sign a guy with a $300 million contract, that's not enough leash to give him. 15 games, that was it? That's all they ever did with him. It's crazy. I don't even get it. So I'm in.
Yeah. Because again, and I made this point all off season, I just think it has more to do with the postseason than it does the regular season. I think they're gonna make the postseason, and I don't.
Yeah, if they stay healthy, they're gonna make it.
And
but they're pitching
what has happened in the postseason, I believe, is that again, I think teams just pitch around Bryce, and I think as he gets higher and higher in the lineup,
it's harder and harder to pitch.
It's harder to pitch around him, and he gets more high impact situations. Now Trey has to be really good. I mean, Trey has to be good. He can't be hitting 240.
No, he's got to be if 295. He's got to walk more than he did.
And we do this whole thing with what's the best, getting the best version of the player, right? If Trey thinks that's the best version of Trey, you got to give it a shot.
Well, I told you on the last pod, I think maybe the single thing that kind of flipped my opinion the most was Rob Thompson saying that they thought that if they put Trey in the leadoff spot, that maybe it would change his approach because he was leading off, and he would go about his at-bats differently because he was the leadoff guy. And it's like,
and he basically,
sure, try it. That makes a ton of sense.
I did black out during the interview with him, but I think one thing he said was that, I'm probably not going to go up there and swing first pitch like sometimes I'm prone to do, batting second, looking to jump on a pitcher.
Yep.
Right. Which listen, I know he has one hit in spring, but
1 for 17. Not awesome.
He has worked a good amount of 8-pitch walks.
You know what I'm going to say?
What?
Who cares? Spring training doesn't matter.
I know.
I could be 0 for 17. Honestly, I wouldn't care.
And as I always said, I don't care what the good players do.
Right. I don't
care what the good players do, and I
don't care about bad performance, only good performance in spring.
Always.
Yeah.
That's
the
the
right way to look
ethos
at it,
of the podcast is good results in spring training lead to a breakout year. Bad results, they're working on things. And even when I go back and rewatch games, I don't even bother. I don't need to watch Schwarber. I don't need to watch Harper. I don't need to watch.
You just know they're
Don't care.
Yeah.
Get me to Otto. Give me to Otto Cam.
Get me to Rincones.
Oh,
give me guys.
And I'm still not sick of spring training.
By the way, he is a big boy. So
Rincones?
we did the pod, I guess it was Thursday or whatever. And then I ended up going to the game on Saturday, and we had seats like right behind the Phillies dugout.
You saw Taiwan,
Shout
right?
out to John Brazier. We did see Taiwan.
So
really good time. It looked all right. I mean,
in the 3 non-postseason games you've been to in the last calendar year plus, 2 of them have been started by Taiwan Walker.
More than that, but yeah.
Really? Did you go to?
Yeah,
I guess you have.
Yeah.
I guess I just wanted to make a joke.
I went to 2 in London, and then
right. So you flew to London, you flew to Clearwater, and in 2 of those 3
yes,
games,
exactly.
you're
correct.
Walker.
Yes. Lucky me. But Rincona's a big dude.
Yeah.
Like seeing him stand in the line with the other guys, like he was towering over some dudes. Like I was impressed.
Yeah. Well,
he's
added 20 to 25 pounds since they drafted him.
Really?
So, there's an interesting player there. Again, I think he's gonna need an injury to someone to come up and like get a little bit of extended runway to talk them out of maybe does he play well enough to
get a bench spot? Probably not.
No, like does he play well enough to next year they don't sign a Max Kepler type to play left field?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Unless Kepler's like has a great year, and then
I'm excited about Kepler, by the way.
You guys are talking.
I liked him when they signed him. I mean, he is a guy I've owned in fantasy, and this is what I said when they signed him. He's like one of those guys who I've owned in fantasy, and I always thought he was better than everyone else. Like he always performed for me.
All of our perception of players around the league is based on fantasy, 100%,
yes.
which is great.
Hey, you know what? At least we've heard of them. We know who they are.
Yeah.
We watch them play.
Well, and he's always been someone that
There's a reason I have the MLB package that we both,
I know.
use. Yeah.
I know. But he's always been a guy that the analytics darlings loved. I guess he hits the ball hard and plays good defense, whatever. But I do believe I think he's in the year as one of the 5 most valuable.
I saw you say that.
Pieces.
I think it's a bold statement, but I could absolutely see it.
So I think he's gonna be more valuable than Castellanos.
You're basically saying the top 4 in the lineup, and then he's the next best.
Yeah. And I think there's a chance he. I mean,
is better than Bohm or better than whatever. Like it's possible.
20, 25.
He hit 31 home runs a couple years ago. Max Kepler did that.
Yeah,
he did. He hit 31 home runs in a season. Like he's done it.
And I've been really impressed with the. I know it's spring training, but the quality of at bats he puts together is not. You can see a guy who has bad plate discipline, like we've watched Castellanos.
100%. Yeah, we know what it looks like,
and
more than most.
And given the scars that we have of 6 and 7 against the Diamondbacks in last year's Mets series, it's hard not to just obsess
zero in on that.
If a guy is
like I don't even really care if you hit the ball. I just want to see if you're taking.
I don't.
Pitches and swinging the right
I don't care. I don't care if you can put the dude. That's why I've been so impressed. It's why I've been so impressed.
Amazing that's our bar.
I've been so impressed with the young kids that have come up because I look at the at bats and it's a high quality at bat,
which is good organizationally speaking.
Yes.
Like that is something they're teaching as they develop them and whatnot.
Also, what I'm in on Kepler, and this is super nerdy, but on this podcast,
at what point does this podcast get not super nerdy?
Dude, he does the little Utley when he takes a walk thing, step in front of the mound and bat flip in the dugout, which I was always in on that.
I dig that.
It was a little.
I'm with you on that.
I'm in on like
Little
being a little
attitude.
cocky after
Yeah,
a walk.
little attitude, man.
Yeah. So I'm a little Keplered up. Not gonna lie.
I'm due, man. I really like
Keplered
that.
up. There's a lot of. I'm in on a lot of Phils this year. So I'm just letting everyone know.
You did just say you think they're gonna win the World Series. So I hope
in
so.
on a lot of Phils. You know what's sick too is that even in fantasy, like I never take Phillies.
I generally lean towards not.
And this isn't like a dynasty league, so I could have. Now I might have to draft Aiden, but like I already have Harper, Wheeler, Turner, and Bohm in my dynasty.
The heart of the
and I
Phillies
keep looking at him. I'm like, this guy's a steal in this spot. 97 RBIs in the third base market. You kidding me? So I do want to do a fantasy draft though of me and you.
I love it.
Just drafting
Phillies.
our guys.
I think it's a great idea.
Who wins at the end of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we want to do that next pod. Should we plan for it?
I
Or
think
the
we should
pod
do it
after, like
I
right
think we should
before
do
the
it
season.
Week of opening day.
Okay. I'm down. Love that.
Yeah.
Tucker, get on it.
You don't have to get it on
You
anything.
don't have to do
Maybe
anything.
just a graphic at the end with.
Maybe just a
who has
list
the
of the
better
roster
team.
for
I mean,
when
it's
we
not
get
go
deep.
Birds. This isn't a high effort pod for me.
I know, I can tell.
Wow, that
I can
was.
tell.
that
Well,
was-
listen, we know where the
Elliot does
prior-
make him do a lot of work, if we're being honest. I
Yeah.
mean,
Jack does during the season.
yeah, it's
Start
true.
doing final outs every night.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm the only one who doesn't make you do a lot of work.
Wow. You just got to put a lot of work in.
I know it's true.
Two different things there. Yeah, that's
You're wrong.
yeah.
It's good.
So yes, I stay up till 11 on final out.
By the
Grinding.
way, have you guys thought about this? That my going to bed early is over now.
Oh man,
That's all I think about.
pour one out.
I'm 2 weeks away from not going to bed at 7
But
o'clock anymore.
here's my counter.
Yes,
Listen, man, it's like 9:30 now.
dude, it's awesome. I have no complaints.
Much better than much.
Dude, the pitch clock coming in the year I went to the morning show is how I know that if there is a higher power, that higher power loves me. That's it. I know.
Really?
Could not have been a more. Yeah, it's
And the Super Bowl.
probably the greatest thing that ever happened to me in an individual thing.
And
Was
like
the
like
pitch
I've
clock.
talked about, I'll get nothing I want sports wise. Everything else is great.
Life perfect. Sports the worst.
Can't get one right.
Yeah,
I
no.
can't buy one.
I know.
You can't buy one.
What? But here's the thing: if you get this one right, today what we're doing here, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the ultimate one.
And
The first time you ever did it, too.
I feel
mean,
very.
It would be. I mean, we'd play this audio, like Tucker, mark the audio. I mean, it would be.
Wouldn't be hard to
special.
find. It was about 30
It was
seconds.
very, very early.
Beginning of the show. I know.
30. We
I
don't
know.
make Tucker work
Um,
hard on this
You
podcast.
never do.
I didn't save it for the 48-minute mark.
Hey, Tucker, can you dig and find that spot?
Dude, because I was driving in today, and I was like,
Enough.
I think they're gonna win,
Kind of
man.
like enough of this.
Yeah, I just because I'm so sick and tired of like, I like this kind of motivation of is the city because the Phillies have never really experienced real Philadelphia.
That's true.
And
Well, since they started winning, they did up until then, like 2022 until September.
sure,
The end of
but
September.
people didn't know that team.
Agree. My point is you're right. They've not in the same way, but that was the closest in September. We were like, I don't want them.
Yeah.
But people were like, I don't want them to
Don't-
celebrate if they win and all that. Like, I do think there was a bit of that from the 2019 through 2022 before they made it. There was a little frustration there at the end, but you're right. It has not been what it is now.
And because now everyone knows them, and I don't think it's Sixers territory
It's not
but I think that there is a little bit of
because people care.
Yeah.
Like Sixers have legitimately, even before this season, have legitimately reached apathy. Like they have actually reached the point where people don't care.
yeah. Well, and even like there wasn't that big of a pop after the PG thing, which you would
That's my point. It was like the PG thing. I was like, okay, I guess it was the move to make. Sure.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think now they're starting to like even the Castellanos quote about the media, you guys get to be right,
Right.
and that's dope,
Which is
whatever.
fine. I hated the quote, but if it's part of us against
And-
the world, I'm all in.
And I think last year's Eagles team used the media
No
to be
doubt.
a vessel to the fans.
Especially when they like the last year's Eagles team was creating their own like issues with which they had to fight against the world. Like they're the ones who got into fights with each other and then told us about it. Like we didn't tell Brandon Graham, hey man, can you come on and talk to us about AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts not liking each other? He did that.
I know.
Like they created their own stuff and then used it as fuel. I mean, that is strong.
And by the way, They don't win the Super Bowl if Brandon Graham doesn't do that.
100%. Brandon saved the season.
Hashtag thank you, WIP.
I'll bet you that hashtag is really going to pick up steam.
You don't think it's going to catch on?
I think we're going to see a lot of that hashtag.
I tried to send it internally to the Eagles, and they laugh every time I say it. And I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate that.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. It's all right. It's all right. It's Phil's season. But we're 2
weeks from opening day, by the way.
I know, 14 days.
Hell freaking yeah, dude.
I know.
Hell yeah.
And we're 2 weeks away from fantasy baseball season.
Oh, I got my draft tomorrow night.
I'm in the middle of my draft right now.
I have, now to be fair, I'm back-to-back champ. No big deal.
You are, of all the things that you're pretty good at, like you're like disgusting at fantasy sports.
I'm really good at fantasy
it's
sports.
Like,
I know.
Actually,
I've been playing for 25 years. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sure.
Did you ever do the thing that was?
I've been playing fantasy sports since you were 5 years old.
Did you play fantasy sports
think about that.
when they were not on computers?
Yeah, no, I was just on. I did not do. Just when it started to boom on computers is when I started to get into fantasy sports.
Yeah. So I remember when I was maybe 8 or whatever, I was over at my grandparents' house for Thanksgiving, and my cousins were over, and it was like a Cowboys game. Of course, I always play, and they were talking about like fantasy, and I was so confused because I was still like 8, and I was like, fantasy football, like was there Dungeons and Dragons? You know, like this. It just didn't make any sense to me.
Little did you know.
Little did I know. And fantasy football's cooked. But fantasy baseball
is so much better. I tell this to anyone. Now, granted, you have to be into it and be willing to, like, you know, for 6 months grind, like check your team every day, set your lineup every day, make moves every day. Like, you got to like be on it, but it is just such a better game.
Well, and if you get into a league that cares, and I think keepers and prospects
make it more fun.
Yeah. And it makes deadlines more fun and all. Like it's just a regular old fantasy baseball season, boring. You know what I mean? Where it's like there's a single season. But
well, yeah, head to head, like Roto can get pretty boring, especially if one team goes out.
Roto's lame, dude. I know. Give me the head to head.
I'm with you.
A little bit of an injury.
I'm with you. Like, I'll take the fact that I might be the best team and lose, as opposed to like just, okay, well, I'm in first place with a month to go. I guess I win. No one can catch me. This is cool. Or I'm in 4th place, and the best I can do is 3rd. Let me get a bunch of stolen bases so I can move up to 3rd place. Like, it's like, what are we doing here?
That's why I wish the Super Bowl was a little closer.
Yeah.
Wasn't it boring?
That's a good take right here. Yeah, it's good. It was not. It was glorious.
All things considered, would you like they win, right? They win. I'm not saying you have to get
I
back.
get it. Well,
would you rather have had a close game or a blowout?
This time I would rather have a blowout, just because I like having a win where we had a close game and a win where we had a blowout. Like, so I could feel both. Next time, I agree with you. I'd rather it be a great Super Bowl and a close game. But I did enjoy experiencing the blowout and having no stress. I mean, like, wow.
It was odd. It was very strange.
So weird. It was one of the weirdest sporting events I've ever watched.
It was very strange.
Yeah.
When Jalen threw the pick, I was actually mad when he threw the pick. I'm just letting you know.
Good.
I was mad. I was like, what are you doing?
I really appreciate that.
When he threw the pick and then they didn't move the ball an inch.
Oh. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I agree. And if you were like, even if you were doing the like, oh, you know, when they came out to start the second half and did absolutely nothing after Andy had, you know, a whole halftime to scheme it up, it's like, oh, they're cooked. They're cooked.
Would you rather have the Phils win in 7 or 4 in the World Series this year?
4. I'm not messing around anymore. Now that we've experienced a game 7, let me tell you, don't like it.
Yeah. For a while, the Phillies
probably won't feel good going into the next one either.
The Phillies with the Michael Jordan of they're in the Michael Jordan of franchises. They're playing in a game 7.
Yeah.
And we experienced one. Never want to do it
again.
Never want
to do it again.
It was not fun. No, it was not fun.
Honestly, I think it's the worst game I've ever been to.
No, you were at game 5 and 11.
Yeah, but
you were at game 5 and 11.
Right. No, you're right. That was worse because of the injury. You're right. No, you're right. That was worse. But it's close. It's right there with it. It's not. You're right. I agree with you. It's not as bad.
I think
that's fair.
But
like game 7 against the Diamondbacks, when we get up 3-2 and up 2-0, and like it just felt so painful. But I agree. The Howard injury makes the.
So I really do. I think game 5 and 22 was worse than game 7 and 23. Because game 5 and 22 was like, it was there.
They were going to win the World Series.
They had it. And if Marsh puts the ball in play, if Chaz doesn't make the catch.
Trey Mancini doesn't make that play.
If Trey Mancini doesn't make the play.
If they don't sub Trey Mancini in and he's not playing first base.
If Reese doesn't strike out against Verlander in the 3rd.
The Rojas at bat. Like, there were so many.
Well, Rojas was 20.
Oh, not the Rojas at bat. The Marsh. You said the Marsh. I meant the Marsh at bat. You said the Marsh strikeout. My bad.
Yeah. The Marsh strikeout.
The Marsh strikeout was the one. That was the one.
But JT smoked that ball against the Jazz.
I know.
And then game 7, it was like
Chaz. I hope Chaz feels bad about it. I hope he knows, as a true Philly fan, what he did to us. I'm sure he does.
Should we bring him on?
I'd love to. Yeah. Are we past it? Can we bring him on and it not be like anger people? So,
Yeah.
Chaz, what was it like to make that big catch in that game, huh? It was pretty cool, huh?
Did you feel bad?
Did you feel like a jerk ruining our dreams? Cool.
Of course it was him, too.
I know. Of course it was. Of course.
So, but in game 7 and 23, it was just watching a slow,
It wasn't a
painful
good game.
death.
I agree. I'm talking more in terms of like the hopes and dreams of the game and then losing.
What about being,
especially because it was to go to the World Series? Like that was the first round. You know what I mean? So like I get your point. You're right. Like on the whole scale with the Howard injury, it's worse. And that was the best team and all that. But like first game 7 ever at home against the Diamondbacks, and we lost.
And they used my sick voice to open up the
Perdomo and I know
the
freaking
MLB highlights.
Oh my God.
That was a good moment. Now people look back at it.
Well, all I remember about that moment was you sent that to me like a day after it happened, and I'm like, why the hell did you watch these highlights in the first place to find out that our voices were there?
Yeah,
because you're sick.
Because I'm sick.
Because you are sick.
Again, the 10 team's better than the 11 team, but that's just it.
All right, I got like 10 minutes left. Let's do some take back action.
You don't want to rehash the 10 and 11 Phillies?
So I think, can I be honest? People aren't going to like this. The 11 Phillies are overrated.
Little bit overrated.
They just are. Like everyone's like, best team ever. Like, well, no. Like, sorry, no. They lost to an 84-win Cardinals team, and the Cardinals team was better than 84 wins. They had injuries, and guys came back, and they won the World Series. But like everyone's like, oh, that was the best team we had. It's like, why? Because they won 102 games. Like,
the 10 team is better.
I think they might have been. They were certainly better offensively.
Yeah. No, 10 was the deadline. 10 was a deadline they were considering trading Worth. And then Don Brown got hurt, so they kept Worth. And they did not trade Jason.
Yeah, losing Worth mattered.
I know. All right, so tomorrow is spring breakout day. Come on. You know what that is?
Tomorrow is what?
Spring breakout day? Come on, man. It's real.
Hold on, let me think here.
You don't know what spring breakout is?
Yeah.
This is just disappointing.
Uh-huh.
I know your Super Bowl was early February.
Oh, this is your Super Bowl?
Dude.
What, do they play at all the young guys or something?
It's Phillies prospects versus Pirates prospects.
There we go.
Tomorrow at 105.
It had to be something like that.
105 tomorrow.
How excited are you?
I can't wait. I can't wait. Listen to this roster. All right. This should be my opening day roster. These guys played 162. I think I'd watch more.
You would be locked in on every
them than that. Eduardo Taillé catching.
Sick.
So the infield is Aiden Miller, Arun Escobar. By the way, his home run the other day. Like Arun is
in.
He's next.
You're Arun on.
Yep.
You're in on Arun.
Yep. Devin Saltabon, Carson DiMartino, Otto Kemp, Keaton Anthony. Can't wait for Keaton Anthony. Outfielders: Justin Crawford, Nori, Burkholder, Rincones. That's an outfield. I can't wait to see Burkholder. Burkholder is my guy. And then the pitching staff of Chase Cabrera. Alex McFarland's really interesting. He hasn't gotten healthy yet, but when he gets healthy, there's another problem there. Our boy Aaron Combs, go Vols. Shout out to Justin in Tennessee. And Brad Pacheco, who I have heard is like the most underrated guy in the system. He's pitching tomorrow. So it's just
it makes me a little sick how many of those names I know.
Good.
To you. Yeah.
Good.
Like
Good.
You're like Burkholder. I'm like Griffin Burkholder. Yep.
Griffin.
I know who that is. Yep.
Griffin Burkholder. We almost named Sutton Griffin.
Really?
Yeah. It was another name we were considering. But then I thought to myself, the year before, one could say that the name Walker came from watching a lot of Walker Jenkins highlights.
Or Taiwan. But yeah, go ahead.
Never Taiwan. And I was like, I was always a Wyatt guy.
Wyatt's a good name.
Yeah. I can't just name all my sons after baseball prospects. Like Wyatt Langford, Walker Jenkins.
Yeah, especially a Rangers prospect.
I know.
What are we doing here?
And I can't do Aiden.
Wyatt Langford's good, though. He's hurt now, right?
No, he's
back.
Okay. A dark horse sleeper pick for AL MVP.
Yeah. Oh, AL MVP you're going. I was going to be like, you can make the All-Star team.
Only take odds, again.
Okay.
You
are Mr. Odds.
Gavin Williams plus 10,000. Tell your friends.
Yeah, well, not
Don't
anymore,
tell all your
right?
friends.
Didn't you say not anymore?
It's down to plus 6,000. Yeah.
Tough.
It is. Sure seems like they're more inclined to give Schwarber an extension than JT. Another.
Guess what? Good.
So, I would extend Schwarber, but I don't want to take them out of Tucker or Vlad.
100%. My point was more like, honestly, I want Schwarber back. I'm fine with it, but I also I just don't want them to extend JT. Like that's more my thing. Like if you want to give him an extra year or something, which you wouldn't do, like fine. But like, I can't have a 35-year-old, 36-year-old, 37-year-old, 38-year-old catcher. Like, I'm just not going to bet that he's Yadier Molina. Like, I'm just not going to bet on it.
Sure. And again, I want to extend Schwarber. I think he's.
I'm down. I agree. I would rather extend him than not.
I just wonder what the number is. I mean, he's signed for 18 per for 3 years, 4 years.
4 for 7 is 479. I think.
Like
It's like a little closer to
360
20.
seems small, right? 360 is a $2 million a year raise, but he's 32.
Oh, I don't think he has to get a huge raise. Like, really? He's 32. He's in his 30s.
Yeah.
Like,
360 sounds about right. 360 or 365.
Yeah.
In that range. It's another $20 million a year.
So it's just like then, and again, I'm okay with it, but we're starting to get to the point where, need some young guys here. I don't need a team full of guys in their mid-30s because guess what? Trey's going to be in his mid-30s. Bryce's going to be in his mid-30s. Like, we're getting there. We're heading that direction. Like, I don't need all the mid-30s guys.
It would also be, speaking of the mid-30s guys, it'd be sickening if the two, I think the 18 Red Sox were a 1 year,
wonder,
unbelievable team that wasn't a run. You know what I mean? But Dombrowski having the 14 Tigers in that run, so like what, they were the second, third best team in the AL. Even you said best team in the AL, 14. Like having that run up end in the title, and then have this run not end in the title would be brutal. Because start putting that piece too, because I think that Tigers team is probably better than this team. That Tigers team was great.
I mean, like,
pretty sick.
Think about they got Hall of Famers on that.
And they had ended up having
Mickey in his prime, and Verlander in his prime. You got Scherzer. Those teams are sick.
And V-Mart.
Yeah,
prime.
That's my guy. Victor Martinez is one of my favorite players of my life.
And
I love that I've told you this before. Victor Martinez used to have a secret handshake for every player on the team. Whenever team he was on, he would come up with an individual handshake with every freaking player on the team. Like, are you kidding me?
Yep. Younger and better Ian Kinsler. Also on that team.
Kinsler was great.
Kinsler was a good player.
Yeah.
Good player. But like comparing this
perennial all-star Ian Kinsler.
This team and the 10 to 13 or whatever Texas Rangers. Now the Rangers made 2 and we're 1 strike away from winning it. Yeah, Cliff. David Freese. But
David Freese. Yeah. David Freese.
They're gonna get it done this year, so I'm not too worried about it.
I love it.
So
excited they're gonna win the World Series. I'm ready.
Now the one thing that is hurting that is Matt Strahm, and hopefully he's fine.
So that's that's probably been the worst news of spring. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
And look, it is great to hear that there's no structural damage. That's big news. But like, I'm sure you agree. Anytime you're a shoulder, you're like, well, that's not good.
No. And
like, I'd rather run elbow.
Now Alvarado's looked great. Like great.
Alvarado's looked, like capital letters, like all caps, great. He's been phenomenal.
The curveball's an equalizer. I think
he's hitting over 100. He's been awesome.
But what's going to take him to the next level is that curveball. He is the only lefty that I like. Tanner Banks is the second best lefty in the bullpen right now. If I'm just saying, probably it have to probably be injury, but like if Matt Strahm can't get it going this year, like he's missing time in and out. That's where around the deadline, or whenever Painter's coming up, you have the Ranger bullpen conversation.
Yeah.
Now the question is if Rangers are going to want to do it
in a contract year. It's a tough spot. Yeah.
Penzardo.
Penzardo.
Probably not.
But it is fascinating. It's going to be, and look, I think that, I think you can nitpick Dave, and I think fans get mad, whatever. But I think you can nitpick the moves he's made here and there. I think on the whole, it's more wins than losses. But like one thing I think everyone would agree with is he is under-delivered at the trade deadline since he's been here, like definitively under-delivered.
Well, and some of the prospects look pretty good. Like how you
he's
leave.
Gotta freaking bring it, dude. The best player he's acquired at a trade deadline is a freaking minor leaguer in Chassé. Like that's probably the best guy he's brought in.
Yeah. That's even with a guy who threw a no-hitter.
Yeah.
And they gave away Logan O'Hoppe. But
Marsh
is
Marsh, yeah, exactly. But it's like, All right.
And then final thing, and I have to end this in the most high hopes way possible.
You started it. Was I
before I let you go to your parent-teacher conferences? I got a John McMillan theory, and this is directed for the front office because I'm on to you. I'm on to the McMillan game that you guys are playing. They keep putting John McMillan in there in like the 9th inning against AA players, and he's overpowering them. I think they're trying to hide the world from John McMillan so they don't have to put him on the 40-man roster, and they can just start him in AAA, continue to develop him, and then move him up. And they're
the
not
next Jeff Hoffman.
and they're trying to not let the world know what they have in John
I
McMillan.
like this.
Whereas my theory is just put him on the freaking 40-man roster
What are we doing?
and let him possibly be an important piece of this bullpen. I don't
Well,
need.
they're gonna need guys like that. Like whether it's McMillan or someone else, like they're gonna, I mean, Strom obviously a wild card in this, but I mean, other than Strom, they have 3 guys you trust. Like that's it, and that's with Romano, whatever. If we're hoping he's healthy, so
One of those guys is gonna pop. They have good stuff, like
Kirk
legitimately.
Green, I feel
stuff.
great about Kirk Green and Alvarado. I think those guys are gonna be
Oh
studs.
no, I'm talking about like the.
No, I know. I'm saying they need one of those young guys to pop. Like that's my point. They have to.
Yeah, Kirk Green's gonna be a monster this year too.
I agree.
Very in on Kirk.
Me
Very
too.
in on a lot of Phils.
No, I'm shocked.
I'm looking forward to our draft.
Draft's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be Jack a lot more than me going like, no.
Yeah. It's gonna be a snake. It's gonna be.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
I can't wait.
And if anyone needs a Fritz list, that people have already been reaching out, shoot me a DM.
Oh, I love this.
Or message the High Hopes pod.
And we will talk about it on the next pod as well. All right.
Well, my draft, because my drafts are mostly Sunday,
so it's perfect. So we'll go through it in the next week. Fritz list.
I feel very.
I can't wait.
I
literally just draft off the Fritz list. Like from the 10th round on, like all I do is draft Fritz guys. Like that's my whole staff every year.
So I talked to one guy. He only texts or only DMs me about the Fritz list. So my last message to him was the Fritz list.
That's amazing.
I got like 6 studs,
dude.
man.
You kicked ass. I know you got. At least on my team, I had Bryce Miller, Bailey Ober,
and you made fun of me for Hunter Brown.
Hunter Green. Hunter. I've dropped him. I drafted Hunter Brown. Dropped him. Ended up being good. Like you did great, man. Let's do it again.
I got like 7 names I'm confident in.
All right. We'll be back next week. Until then.